And for too long, those centers of power have stayed in places that have frankly become outdated. One of the things this administration has done is identify new centers of power. To me, to the president, to the administration, the importance of India is now. It's not stuck in other places. It's not stuck in past societies. We realize the potential that India has. We see the growth that India has, not only economically, but strategically to the world. And it's an area where we have identified, where we are growing, where we're enhancing this partnership. And it's one of the goals that this president has from the White House. In President Trump's second term, just weeks into it in February, I was actually there, Prime Minister Modi and the president launched what is known as a Transforming the Relationship Utilizing Strategic Technologies, or simply known as TRUST. This initiative was launched when the Prime Minister visited us in Washington, D.C. at the White House. They agreed to promote government-to-government, academia, and private sector collaboration in critical and emerging technologies, defense, artificial intelligence, semiconductors, quantum computing, biotechnology, energy, and space. Their goal was clear: encourage innovation with our most trusted partners while ensuring sensitive technologies are protected. This is something that's not expanded to everyone around the world. When you look at the initiatives that the United States is expanding, is offering, is looking to partner with, we're looking at individuals that frankly are trusted. And India is one of those partners. Today I want to share with you what we've achieved in just over a year, because trust isn't just a framework, it's delivering real results. Let's first talk about artificial intelligence. Let me start with that. The first pillar of trust, and it's an ambitious undertaking that will shape the future of the world. We committed to developing a US-India AI infrastructure roadmap, identifying constraints to financing, to building, powering, connecting large-scale US origin AI infrastructure here in India. Since then, the Department of Commerce has taken measures to restore the flow of advanced AI chips to our partners around the world when they rescinded the AI diffusion rule. As part of the roadmap, we identified with industry and both government changes to improve the regulatory environment to build data centers right here in India. These will be a key as we look ahead to building in India. And we're not just talking about items that we have changed on paper. We're seeing real results. We're seeing real American investment here and vice versa. For example, Amazon expects to invest $35 billion into India by 2030 to advance AI-driven digitization, export growth, and job creation. Microsoft announced a $17.5 billion investment here in India, including the expansion of hyperscale cloud infrastructure. And just last month, Google broke ground on a subsea cable landing terminal, which is valued at about $15 billion. These are incredible things that we have seen just from a handful of companies. Every week, we have individuals that show up to the embassy and they ask, is it safe to invest in India? Is this somewhere we can partner with? And our answer to them is yes. It's not an answer we give around the world. We're seeing this incredible innovation come here because it's welcome. You have a government that is forward-leaning, that has cut and changed rules to accommodate these giant tech companies that we have appreciated in the United States that are now looking to expand in trusted territories such as India. In February, India hosted the Global AI Impact Summit. The United States showed strong support with a large delegation. At the summit, we announced the US AI Exports Program, TechCore, National Champions Initiative, and the AI Agent Standards Initiative. At the summit, Under Secretary Helberg and I officially welcomed India into Pax Silica, making India one of the first 10 trusted countries that were invited to join. As soon as that announcement happened, within 2 weeks, we had interest from 60 other countries that have asked us to join Pax Silica. The reason India was in the first top 10 countries around the world to join this is because we trust this place. We trust the people here, we trust the technology, we trust your government. It's a partnership that we're willing to build on. India's joining a network of trusted ecosystems and resilient supply chains for the technologies that will define the future, from artificial intelligence to semiconductors and quantum computing. Our joint statement on the US-India AI partnership reaffirmed our shared vision for our innovation ecosystems. We agreed to adapt regulatory regimes that advance technological innovation and promote investment, deepen cooperation under the Pax Silica framework to support the supply chains of tomorrow, and foster an environment where the AI revolution is driven by the creative power of the private sector. Trust is also transforming supply chains that directly impact human health and security. Last year, the leaders agreed to encourage public and private investment to expand manufacturing capacity in India and in the US for active pharmaceutical ingredients and for critical medicines. We delivered, and India delivered in a big way. I'll share two things with you. On pharmaceuticals, we import close to 40% of our generics from India. There's a reason the United States does that. It is because we trust India. These are critical, literally life-saving ingredients that are needed in the United States. It's happening here, not in other places around the world, because of that trust. We also delivered in another big way. Every embassy gets to compete in bringing investments back home. And for us, the win-win situation is identifying both ways, investments that come here and investments that come home. And I was proud that our embassy here in Mission India, in Delhi, in our consulates, delivered in a substantial way. We came in first in the world with $20.5 billion announced in new investments for the next year just from India alone. 19 billion in investments of that actually is pharmaceutical related also. So once again, it's the reaffirming of the trust on key ingredients and key components. These Indian companies see the potential in the US market, the opportunities to innovate and return on the investment of their shareholders. This isn't just about economics. It's also about de-risking global supply chains and preventing the kind of medicine shortages that put lives in risks. My team members from 6 different US government agencies came together to discuss with Indian companies onshoring and supply chain resilience. Listening to industry needs, we stood up a US government India Pharmaceutical CEO task force that is working on a data gap supply chain mapping exercise. We want to work with industry, so both of our countries have the pharmaceuticals they need. Health research collaboration is equally promising. Indian officials visited multiple US universities and health tech companies to see US-India biomedical research collaboration in action. We're now working to set up new fellowships. University of Oklahoma recently signed an agreement with the Indian Council of Medical Research for tech collaboration on a promising cervical cancer treatment. This is what trust looks like in practice. Investments that create jobs, research that saves lives, and supply chains that enhance security for both of our nations. While we're strengthening supply chains here on Earth, we're also reaching new heights, literally in space. The cosmos has always been an ultimate proving ground for human capability. And over the past year, the United States and India proved that we belong side by side. The successful launch of the NASA-ISRO synthetic radar mission, NISAR, demonstrated how countries are leading together in Earth observation and advanced space technology. This $1.5 billion investment, the largest bilateral space initiative to date, has revolutionized global mapping of ice and land, supporting a broad range of Earth science. Through the Axiom 4 mission, India sent an astronaut to space for the first time since 1984. This time through the collaboration with NASA, ISRO, Axiom Space, and SpaceX. The NASA-ISRO Strategic Framework for Human Spaceflight Cooperation, signed in 2025, made this possible, with ISRO astronauts receiving training at NASA's Johnson Space Center, and there's more ahead. As a signatory of the Artemis Accords, we've invited India to join us in accelerating humanity's return to the moon, and this time to maintain a sustained presence. When the United States leads, we invite trusted partners. We have seen over the last year and a half that India is that trusted partner. It's something that we look to build upon. The United States and India maintain one of the world's most dynamic bilateral space partnerships, spanning both civil and commercial sectors. Our cooperation holds strategic importance. It addresses emerging threats, advances peaceful use of space, provides counterbalance to China's influence, and drives technological innovation and economic growth. India's commercial space sector has grown significantly, with ISRO launching 233 satellites with US companies over the last 20 years. India's recent announcement of plans to launch 50 new satellites, representing a $2.8 billion investment, creates new opportunities for U.S. space firms. India's 2024 foreign direct investment guidelines now permit up to 100% FDI in the space sector here, further expanding opportunities for U.S. companies to fuel India's growth. The space connections between our two countries and government seem to know no bounds. And once again, it'll be an item that is a priority for us, for Embassy, and my entire team. These achievements across AI, pharmaceuticals, and space are built on a foundation of deep research collaboration, the kind that happens in institutions like IIT Delhi. Through the US-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, we support over 20 projects with binational research teams, bringing the latest advancements in technologies like AI, quantum, advanced materials, and critical minerals processing into practical use. Also under trust, we held last August a US-India Advanced Materials R&D Forum in Washington, along the American Chemical Society's annual summit, and in collaboration with the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor of the Government of India. We brought together leading researchers, industry partners, and government officials to